is being recorded. Okay, so what is self-confidence, right? Before we delve into it, let's do a little activity then, right? To get all of us interested in this session. I'd like for us to all go on a little walk together, right? For the purpose of this walk, we're going to try to focus and it might help us to keep our eyes closed. And we're going to be taking a visual walk. We're going to take a journey in which we have confidence to an unlimited quantity, right? We have a lot of confidence. We have the ideal amount of confidence that we want to have in our lives, right? Now, imagine a scenario like you're walking down your campus or you're just going for a walk somewhere else. Maybe you're at a party, maybe you're at a friend's house. Imagine any scenario, any normal day-to-day scenario. And now imagine how your stance is in this scenario, okay? So in this particular, right now, we are in this imagination, we have an ideal amount of confidence, the absolute correct amount of confidence that we want to have, that we aspire to have. And in this, I want you to, with closed eyes, imagine how are you walking right now? Is there a different way that you're walking? Is there a stride to your step? Are you walking in a more different way? Is your body language different? Are you holding your shoulders up in a different way? Is your walk more noticeable? How do you feel in this walk? I want you to notice every element of the way that you're walking differently in this scenario where you have just the right amount of confidence that you've always wanted to have. I also want you to notice if, as you're walking, as you're meeting people, maybe they're your colleagues, maybe they're your friends, maybe they're your peers or your teachers, are you talking to them in a different manner? So are the things you're saying different? Like, are you saying some things that you don't say right now? Are you being more honest and more open? Is the way in which you're telling the things you want to say different? Are you able to assert yourself better? Are you able to, use words that are nicer or kinder? Are you able to speak up? If it's a class that you're sitting in, are you able to raise your hand and respond when you have the right answer? Are you able to be firm when you want to say no? How is your word, your language, your voice, your tone? How are these things different? How are you talking different? In your behavior with other people, is there any difference? In your interaction with other people, is there any difference? Are the people around you any different? Are you interacting more with some people and less with others? Are you being nicer to people or kinder to people around you? Are you now able to do some things that you otherwise don't feel confident in doing? What are those new things? What are some of the things that you're doing now? Really think about how, whether it's a difference in the way you're carrying yourself or the clothes that you're wearing, or the way that you're interacting with people, or some of the things that you want to do, maybe some hobbies and interests that you have that you've not taken part in, maybe certain opportunities in college that you sometimes don't participate in because you're not sure about yourself. Are you able to do those things? So what are those new things that you'll be doing if you had this ideal amount of confidence? Make a note of all these things. What are these new things that are happening? Are there some habits that you have right now that you let go of? Are you going to criticize yourself and others less when you're more confident? Will you feel more confidence in taking up new challenges, new goals, new targets? Are there some things you say, oh, I don't think I can do that? Would you not now feel that way? Would you feel more confident in taking those things up? And what are those things? What are those goals? What are some new goals that you'll make for yourself if you were in a world where you had the absolute perfect amount of confidence? As you're imagining this scenario where you have all this confidence, you're walking differently, you're talking differently, behaving differently, You're doing some new things. You've let go of some things. What difference is all of this making to you, and what difference could all of this make to you in your life? If you had this ideal amount of confidence, how would you contribute to society or the world in a better manner? Would you be able to do more with yourself, your time, your life? Would you be able to be more fair to yourself? Now, as we're reflecting on all of this, I want you to consolidate your thoughts, put them together, think about what you want to take away from this little exercise that we just did. And now, as we come back, I want to invite all of you to share what your experience was. What did you notice? You can share by putting your thoughts on the chat. You can send the chats privately or to everyone. You can also unmute yourself or raise your hand to speak. What was your experience? What did you notice? Was there a difference? Were you exactly like how you are right now? Or was there a difference? Let's start from that. Was there any difference that you experienced when you were imagining an unlimited amount of confidence or an ideal amount of confidence? Okay, some people are saying yes. What about the rest of you? Did you see that was there a difference? If there's anybody who says, no, I'm already in that same zone that I want to be, I'm already very, very confident, so I don't think I need more, you can tell me that as well. Most of you are writing, yes, you did notice a difference. Okay, many of you are writing, yes, you did notice a difference. Would anybody like to share what that difference was? What was the difference that you noticed? How did it feel different? What were some new things you were doing? How was your walk different? How was your talk different? Anybody wants to unmute themselves and share? One person is sharing, meeting more people, being more productive and effective. Yeah. So we were in this confident version of ourselves. We noticed we were meeting more people, being more productive, able to do more things in a more efficient manner. I could walk with everyone in college confidently without any barriers of language. I could talk with everyone in the college confidently without any barriers of language. So yes, so I'm not conscious about the way I speak. I'm just using my language to communicate and I'm feeling confident about it. All right. If anybody else wants to share, please continue sharing as we move on. And if you want to unmute yourself, you can also unmute yourself and share. So what is confidence then? What did this experience tell us about confidence and what it is? What do we understand by the term confidence? What is it? I think I talked in a more confident way. I was clear with my thoughts, what I want to convey. Yeah. So another reflection is that I'm able to talk in a confident way in terms of being able to express my thoughts more clearly, right? Not holding back, not being unsure, and being able to clearly say what I want to say. So we can say from all of this that confidence is being aware of our abilities and being aware of being able to express within those abilities. Right? So it's being able to estimate accurately what our abilities are. Right? Now, when we're talking about confidence, we also want to recognize is how we always the same level of confident in our life. If every time I talk to somebody, am I going to have the same level of confidence? Every time I give a presentation in college, will I feel the same level of confidence? Every time a question is asked in class and I think I know the answer, do I always speak up or do I always hold back? We don't always behave in the same way. We don't always feel the same level of confidence, right? Because confidence is not some quantity that is absolute, right? It's not that if Rahul is confident, he's always confident. And if Priya is underconfident, then she's never confident. Both Rahul and Priya would be confident and not confident at different points of time in their life, even in the same situations, right? So even at a party, if I feel a bit low in confidence in talking to new people, maybe sometimes I'm more confident in talking to people, right? If in presentations, sometimes I feel very nervous, maybe sometimes I feel more confident, right? So confidence is not something that's absolute. It's relative and variable, and it doesn't only vary from situation to situation and person to person. It can also vary within the same situation and within the same person at different points in time, right? So maybe one person is more confident in work presentations, but not very confident at parties, and another person feels more confident in parties and less confident in a presentation. So, but again, that doesn't mean that if I'm a confident person and I usually always feel confident in giving a presentation, that never can I feel a lack of confidence, right? So it fluctuates, and sometimes we also understand that overconfidence can also play a role. Can anybody explain to me what overconfidence might look like, or what negative effect it may have? Would anybody like to add their thoughts about this? What overconfidence? We're talking about a healthy level of confidence, right? Like a good level of confidence. So, what can overconfidence be? How can that be disadvantageous? Overconfidence is maybe like boasting ourselves, right? So yes, of course, that might be one way to explain overconfidence, right? So sometimes when we're overconfident, we might not accurately estimate the amount of effort that needs to be put into something, right? So if I'm overconfident about a presentation, I may not work hard towards it. I might feel, oh, I can do it very easily, right? So it can sometimes overconfidence can backfire in the sense that we don't prepare enough, and low confidence can backfire that we are trying to prepare, but we are even with preparation in the moment when we actually have to do the task, whether it's giving an exam or a presentation, the anxiety is not letting me perform to the best of my abilities, right? So one is that overconfidence me, I'm not preparing enough. And in underconfidence, either my preparation is getting affected because I'm not confident and I'm feeling a high level of stress, or even if I have prepared, I'm not able to recall and actually use that information. Right? So we do want to strike a good balance between that and create a healthy level of confidence. Now, what are some of the things that lead to low confidence, right? Can you tell me what has ever affected your level of confidence? What are some things that make you feel low in confidence? There are some things written here on the slide as well. You can take cues from that. But what are some things that you feel have led to low confidence in your life? You can share on the chat or unmute yourself. Yeah, some mistakes that we might have made in the past in different situations. Like, for example, maybe I didn't, one exam did not go well, and now I'm feeling less confidence for even future, the next exam, right? Guilt. Yes, I might have guilt about something I did in the past, and that guilt can make me feel low in confidence going forward. Right? What else can lead to low confidence, according to you all? So yeah, so we have, they can be sometimes shyness in front of others. Yes. So shyness can be something that is one way we present our low confidence, right? People might be shy in terms of interacting with other people because of feeling a bit of low confidence, right? So there can be things that happen in our life, things are not going well, maybe we're going through a hard time, right? And those situations or adversities in life can lead to low confidence, right? Sometimes there are failures like, okay, my exam didn't go well, or I did not score very high marks and I was expecting better for myself, now what a failure is for one person and another person can be very different, right? There's no absolute failure. It's not like I am failing only if I'm actually getting, low, whatever, 40, less than 40% marks, and that is the only thing that is considered failing. What is failure for me can be different than what is failure for another person. So, so yes, I might feel like I have failed or I have not done to the level that I expected from myself, right? So that can be something. Now, sometimes things don't go the way we want. That can also make us feel low in confidence, right? Then some people have written self-criticism. Yes, self-criticism is definitely one of the things. Some persons have written lack of appreciation. So lack of appreciation is also one of those things that when we don't feel like there's enough appreciation from outside, so lack of appreciation and external pressure in a way merge together, right? Like when there is a lot of pressure from maybe our friends, or maybe our friends expect you to always do well, maybe our family expects us to do a certain level of well in our lives, maybe we ourselves have that pressure on ourselves also, which is self-criticism, that I am not good enough unless I do this, right? If I fail in one exam, I'm useless. If I don't do well in even one grade is low, I'm useless, right? So these things can lead to low confidence, right? And as we discussed, guilt. Language or communication problems when persons shares. Yes, sometimes when we feel we're not able to communicate adequately, we do feel that we do feel low in confidence then, right? Lack of experience, yes, definitely. When we're starting out, let's say around, and we're interacting with other people who have more experience than us, we may feel a bit on the low side of confidence because we don't have the same level of experience as people around us, right? So some of these things that we are mentioning, like language or communication problems or lack of experience, these are things that we can work on, right? Like there are certain things we can work on in terms of trying to make them better by practicing or learning that skill, right? But some things are internal, right? As I mentioned, failure doesn't mean the same thing to every person, and sometimes we can be excessively critical about ourselves. Now, can you tell me how will it show up in my behavior? If I have low confidence, how will I behave in an academic setup? Like in my college, in my classes, on my Zoom classes, online classes, how will a person with low confidence versus a person with high confidence behave differently? Let's start with in academics. Inactive, yes. Yes, a person will not be as active in classrooms. What else? Never speaking up the answers, correct. I might not feel comfortable speaking on the answers. Staying silent most of the time, true. I might not want to share my thoughts and opinions. Yeah, not talking much about their own ideas, true. Yeah. Hesitant about asking doubts, really, really well thought out. That, yeah, also in terms of doubts, I might not be able to put them across. I have these concerns, but I'm not able to put them across. Not to talk actively, yeah, not able to talk. Basically, even with peers, I may not be comfortable talking in exchanges, ideas, not just in classroom, but even with peers, I might not be comfortable. If I'm lagging behind and I need help, I may not ask for help. If I need support from my classmates, I might not reach out to them. I might also have difficulty connecting with my peers and taking their support, or if there's some group project or group work, I might take a back seat. Even if I'm very interested in the topic, I might not be able to take that up. High exam test tension and pressure. Yeah, because of low confidence during exams, I might take too much tension, feel too much under pressure. And before performing in exams, also, I might not be able to do my best because of the pressure of that I put on myself, right? What about in relationships, in our personal relationships with our family, friends, romantic relationships? How does low confidence show up there? What are some, signs that a person may have low confidence in a relationship? Shyness, yeah, true. Not being able to speak up. Shyness is one way that we identify, that in relationships, a person with low confidence will be more shy, right? Keeping a distance with people, yes, having a difficulty creating new relationships by keeping a distance. Not able to express our feelings, correct? So even in close relationships, if we are low in confidence, even in close relationships, like even with our family, even with our friends, we may not be able to express ourselves or express our feelings. If we felt hurt about something, we may hold it back. We might not tell them, okay, I felt hurt by this thing. Right? We may not give importance to our own feelings. If somebody else is pushing us for something, we may listen to them and not be able to take a stand for ourselves. We may not be able to create healthy boundaries. We may give over importance to another person in the relation to the other person in the relationship and prioritize their needs and not be able to put our needs forward, right? So if our sibling is expecting too much attention, ki, Acha, you need to do this, you need to do that, help me with this, help me with that. I'm not able to set healthy boundaries because I feel if I don't do whatever they're asking for, I'm not a good sibling. Maybe in a romantic relationship, if a person is too pushy, I'm listening to whatever they're saying. I'm not able to express myself and set the boundary that, okay, this is not possible, right? Or these are my needs. I need you to spend more time with me, or, I need you to behave with me in a certain manner. This behavior is not appropriate. I might not be able to say things like that. I might not be able to be confrontational, right? Another person has said lack of knowledge in terms of relationships. Can you explain to me what you mean by that? I'm not able to understand how that connects with relationships. What do you mean by that? Rahul, would you like to share what you mean by lack of knowledge? Okay. Otherwise, if you want, you can also elaborate on it on the chat, what you meant, so that I can understand better what you're trying to say. Right. So low confidence can show up in various ways in our personal and private relationships as well as in academics. Right. Now let's look at a scenario. Means not complete knowledge of likes and dislikes. Right. So maybe I am not going to be able to express myself fully in the relationships by explaining my likes and dislikes or understanding the other person's likes and dislikes, right? Okay. Now let's look at this scenario. Okay. Now what we'll try to do after reading the scenario is we'll try to understand what is going on in Rahul's mind. Okay. And I want you all to reflect on that, right? How would you feel? Rahul is newly joined an institution. It has only been 3 weeks since he joined. As he was getting used to his new place, his professor asked him to lead a club along with two of his peers who were his seniors. Rahul felt extremely uncomfortable as he did not know how to address his seniors. He also felt unsure about what to do. He felt very underprepared and scared to deal with the situation, but knew it was something he was interested in. He felt very confused and stuck. He could manage the club related responsibilities on his own, but at times he would have to delegate work to people older than him who were more experienced and who knew more about the situation than he did. This seemed like a very difficult situation to him. The other option was to give up the leadership role, but Rahul did not know when he would get a chance like this again. Now, I want all of you to just think about what Rahul is going through. What is he going through? What kind of thoughts might be going through his mind right now? What is he feeling? Would anybody like to share? Fear, yes. Rahul is afraid. He's feeling fear. What is going through his mind? he may be scared again. Yeah, related to fear, he may be scared that he might do something wrong. Okay. So what can he do right now? Right? Is he is what he's thinking, is it right? Is it uh, helping him? Is it helping him think in this manner? Thinking in this manner, is it helping him in the situation? No.
If he has fear, it won't help him.
Has fear, that fear is not going to help him.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Another person has shared he can talk to his seniors who are peers. Right? He can communicate with them. True. What can he do? So here, if we look at the situation, right, he is feeling very confused and very stuck. And we can also relate that in the situation, if we were there, we would also feel a bit confused and stuck, right? But what we are also recognizing here is that it says that Rahul, he could manage the club-related responsibilities on his own, right? So that is a good part, right? Like he is capable of handling those responsibilities. He feels capable of managing the club-related responsibilities, right? The part that he's uncomfortable with is the delegating to older people part, right? For which he is feeling underprepared because of lack of confidence in dealing with that part of the situation, right? So here, if he let's go off his fear, right, and he tries to work out in the situation, he tries to develop more confidence in himself that there is a reason why he has been chosen for this position, then he might feel better. Yeah, so another person has shared that confused, but when he talks to the seniors, they might be nice and okay with those tasks that he's given. Yeah. So we're making an assumption that the seniors will not be on board. But again, that's an assumption, right? Right. But he may hesitate to ask help for small tasks, right? So he can also, another thing that he can do is, another thing that we can do in situations like this is that whatever discomfort we're having, we can talk about it to somebody, right? It's not that we having these doubts is very wrong, because we will have these doubts. We are humans at the end of the day. We feeling this uncomfortable in this situation is very, very normal, right? Where most of us are likely to feel a bit uncomfortable in this situation. But we can discuss this with the professor, and we can also clarify our doubts. That is also something that requires confidence, right? So for if my professor has placed confidence in me, I may also speak to him about this, that okay, I'm having this hesitation, right? And maybe he can also help me feel more confident in the situation. But even having that conversation requires some amount of confidence, right? Now let's look at some things that we can do. We can use positive affirmations. Rahul can also do that. He can use positive affirmations, right? Positive affirmations are statements that are good about us, such as I can do this, I am capable, I'm worthy, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm considerate, I'm kind, things that are nice about ourselves. We just reiterate those things, right? We are not lying to ourselves, but we are reiterating, or we are reinstating that confidence in ourselves by using those statements that we have at times believed about ourselves also, or other people have said to us also, right? So positive affirmations, see, we all do something we call negative self-talk, right? A lot of times we may be engaging in negative self-talk. I'm sorry that the character name is Rahul, but it does not have anything to do with you, Rahul. It is a different Rahul, right? So whoever would have made up this scenario might have had a friend named Rahul and put it in, right? But it does not mean any one Rahul. So so again, talking about positive affirmations. Let's think about what are things we like about ourselves. People tell us, we want to remind ourselves of that, right? So the best. Now we often tell ourselves, "Acha, I'm not good enough. I'm not looking good today," or I won't be able to do this. I can't do this. So we want to, use positive affirmations to counter those negative things that come sometimes, right? So the purpose of this is to counter the natural, normal process of our thinking, which tends to be negative. Right? So we are not lying to ourselves. We're just reminding ourselves of some things that are great. And again, I'm sorry, Rahul, that this is reminding you of your story, right? But it's good if you can relate to it. I think all of us to some extent can relate to the story, as if I was in that situation, I would be feeling these things also, right? Now, another thing that we can do to reinstate our belief in ourselves is to actually actively remind ourselves of our strengths. So let's do that right now. Okay. Let's first start by doing some positive affirmations, right? Today I had fun when. Today was special because I was proud of myself when. I want you all to answer these sentences and put at least one of these sentences in the chat, right? I want you all to do it on your own, at least in your own private notebook, or just mentally note it down, or remember to answer them fully. And those of you who are comfortable, please put it in the chat. How can you answer these things? Right? If you're not able to fill in today, fill in with yesterday, that's okay. Today I had fun when. Today was special because I was proud of myself when. And please share it on the chat. Okay, today I had fun when spending time with my friends. I talked to my friend. Okay. What about the rest of you? What makes us proud of ourselves? I was proud of myself when I tried to fight my bad habits. That's wonderful. Today I had fun when I was listening to my favorite songs. Today was special. I have started something new, started some new things. That's great. When I have joined a new member to SSCS. Today was special because I learned something that was difficult till now. That is great. So we want to remind ourselves of things that are going good, because automatically our mind does go to things that are bad, because we have a tendency, to think about negative. Maybe some of us have it more, some of us don't have it so much, but we do as humans have a tendency to pick out the negative as a survival mechanism or survival tendency, right? So we want to counter that tendency. We are living in a very peaceful world right now, right? So we want to look at the positive side on our own. That doesn't happen naturally. So we want to think about the times we had fun. We want to think about things that are special, right? Now I want all of you to identify at least 3 strengths out of this and share that with me in the chat box. What are 3 strengths that you can identify? They can be in this list. They can be outside of this list also. But this is just a cue. I want you to think about at least 3 strengths that you have out of this list and share. And all of you, please do note it down. Those of you who are comfortable, share it on the chat box. Self-control. Try to think of at least 3 strengths out of these that you have. Creativity, leadership, Do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Confidence again. Enthusiasm, gratitude. Okay. So we all want to have a list of our strengths in front of us: ambition, forgiveness. I feel many others also, but in my older version, okay, I'm sure that you have more strengths than, forgiveness. Along with forgiveness, I'm sure you have more strengths. You just really need to look for it. Those of us who are not able to find enough strengths for ourselves, we can go and talk to the people who are closest to us and who value and appreciate us, who love us, and we can ask them, what do you think some of my strengths are? To have a strength, I don't need to have it in perfection, right? I don't need to be the kindest person on the planet. I don't need to be a Mother Teresa to recognize that I can be kind at times. I don't want to. I don't have to be the bravest person on the world in the world to feel like I can be brave in so many situations. Right? So yes, ambition, persistence, curiosity, and patience. Yes. So we want to recognize the great qualities that we do have without necessarily feeling the pressure to be perfect in those qualities. None of us are going to be perfect in any of these qualities, right? Okay. Now let's look at another case, right? Neha had the worst day ever. On her way back to work, her tire got punctured. She had to take it to the mechanic and catch a bus as no cabs were available. She reached a little bit late and was asked to give an important presentation immediately. She had spent the whole week preparing for it. But due to everything that had happened, she felt very nervous and tired and could not remember her presentation. Now, what is Neha going through here? What kind of thoughts and feelings might Neha be feeling right now? Thinking today is an unlucky day. Have we had days like this? Can some of us relate to this? We've had a bad day like this. Angry on her fortune. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to tell me what is a different way of looking at this situation? What can help her? Frustrated for not having even a break. A bit of frustrated, yes. These are things that she's feeling. जो भी हो कल फिर आएगा. Nice way to put it. Okay. कि जो भी होगा ये तो एक ही दिन है ना, आगे और दिन आएंगे. That's a good way to look at it. But anybody wants to add anything else here? How can she look at the situation differently? As a test of her abilities, very, very nicely put, that this day has been a bit of a test on her, right? It was a challenge, right? And it is a challenge that can be overcome. Okay. So one way that she can relook at, if we look at this whole, case a bit more carefully, more closely, we look at it that, okay, her tire got punctured, which can happen sometimes, right? But here we also see that she had to take it to a mechanic, and from what we can understand, she was able to find the mechanic nearby, right? Because she was only a little bit late. What we can also see is that she was able to catch a bus, right? Which means that she was close enough to a space where she could have caught a bus, right? Then we know that she had to give an important presentation, which she was not ready for. But then we see, oh, she has spent the whole week preparing for it. She was well prepared for the presentation also, right? So if we look at it from another perspective, though she had a very difficult situation, which is her tire getting punctured, she was able to take her car to the mechanic and find a bus to reach to work eventually, right? Though she had to give an important presentation, she had already prepared for it in the prior week, so she was well prepared for it otherwise, right? However, because of course she was feeling nervous and tired, she was not able to remember her presentation, which is something that happens when we're under stress, right? So if in this situation, she takes a step back, okay, somebody has shared, this will be a difficult situation for some other, but I'm a little different, so I will do it. Would you like to share what you would do? Would you like to unmute yourself and share what you would do? It will be great if you would do that. Or you can also put it on the chat. Right? So yes, some of us may feel, Acha, whatever has happened has happened. Let us now have a glass of water, take a few deep breaths, right? Calm ourselves down a little bit. And if we do that, we are already prepared. So, and then we can possibly prepare for the presentation, right? Alternatively, she can also speak to her, her professor, or if she's at work, then she can speak to her, whoever her boss or supervisor might be, and ask if she can, maybe delay it by some time so that she can calm herself down. Maybe she can give it on another day. So there are solutions ahead, right? And one of those solutions is also to calm yourself down. So like, yeah, this person's also shared that I would be different in this situation. I will calm myself and do the presentation in a good way. Yeah. Why? So why is she able to do that? Because she's already prepared. Now, let us look at what we did here, right? What we tried to do here in this situation is also known as positive reappraisal, which is looking at the same situation from a healthier viewpoint, right? So positive reappraisal, right? First, we talked about, how positive, statements that we give for ourselves can help boost our confidence. Right now, we're talking about positive reappraisal, which is looking at an old situation in a new way, right? So we might have had a failure in our past, and that failure told us something about ourselves, right? I failed in that subject, and it made me realize that I'm more interested in something else, right? Or I didn't do well this 1 year, and then I realized, no, I must do better. I pulled my socks up and I did much better in the next semester, right? I had faced this other loss in my life, and that made me a stronger person. I was able to deal with stressors in a better way in my life, right? So it is positive reappraisal is looking at an old failure or an old difficult situation. Sometimes, our situations are just difficult. They can be very hard to go through. So we just look at it from a point of view of learning, point of view of overcoming a difficult challenge in our life, appreciating the fact that we were able to overcome it, right? As one of you had mentioned, as a test of her abilities, I look at my, the challenges as, okay, if I can get through that, I'm now stronger to deal with other things, right? So positive reappraisal is adopting a new way of looking at the same situation, which enables me to not hold on to that negativity and hold on to the difficulty of that experience, and now looking at it from a healthier perspective. So if you look at positive reappraisal, it is an emotional regulation strategy that involves changing the trajectory of an emotional response by reinterpreting the meaning of the emotional stimulus, right? So we are looking at that same situation in a different way. And now when we look back at it, we look at it not in the same negative, it doesn't make us feel that bad. Okay, so maybe I had a really bad breakup. Now I'm thinking, okay, you know what, that relationship taught me something. And I've always been careful about the way that I behave with my partner from there. Or I've been more careful about choosing the right person from there on, right? So it was a learning experience. I'm looking at it in a different way. Now, how do we do it? We observe our thoughts about situations from the past that, sometimes we keep thinking, "Acha, ye hua tha, this has happened, this was so difficult." And that keeps taking over us. So we think about it, we observe what are the patterns that we have been thinking about with respect to these things. And we ask ourselves questions. Is this the only way we can think about it? We challenge it. Is there a better way that we can think about it? And now we start to find a new way to think about it and replace the way we used to think about it with this new method, which makes us coping with that easier. Okay? The second thing is modifying self-criticism, right? So maybe in this situation, Neha is feeling, I can't do it. I can't do the presentation. Now I can't do it. I had the worst day, right? So we're saying, okay, let's not try to, maybe I will not give as great a presentation as I could have, but I can still do a pretty good job because I have worked so hard. I have already prepared for it the whole of last week, right? So trying to have, a check on our perfectionism, trying to check, am I being realistic about my ideas? A lot of times we have unrealistic expectations. So even if we do good, we are not happy with it, right? Even if somebody tells us, you're looking nice today, we say, oh, you'll just think that, now you're my mother. Or you'll just say that because you're just being nice, right? Or we do well, and I'm like, okay, we did well, but other people also did well. So how does it matter, right? So sometimes our ideas are just not, we can't meet them. There's no like winning, right? So if we feel like that is the case with us, we want to actually remind ourselves that perfection is not the goal. The goal is to do the best that we can, right? And we want to focus on what our strengths might be, as we were trying to do earlier in this session. We're going to end by giving ourselves some compliments, right? I want you all to fill in at least one of these sentences and share that with me on the chat box, right? What are you good at? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel like a good person? What are you proud of? What kind of things do other people compliment you on? Most people really like my dash. Would anybody like to unmute themselves and go through all this list? Otherwise, you can always put your responses on the chat box by answering at least one of these. If you want, you can also give a compliment to somebody else in this group. Do you guys know each other? I feel good when I solve a tough problem. Okay, that's great. I think we can relate to that we feel good when we solve a tough problem. And, I'm glad that you are able to solve tough problems. I'm proud of myself. Yes, that's great. What about the rest of you? Anybody else would like to share? I'm good at least trying. That's great. I'm good that I at least try things. I try things out. I'm a good person because I motivate others when they are down. That's wonderful. I'm good because I motivate other people when they are down. Okay, so I would like all of you to try to finish all of these sentences and remind ourselves of all of these sentences from time to time, right? We are all good at something. There are things that make us feel good, right? There are things that make us a good person. There are things we must be proud of. And there are things that other people tell us they like, right? People might say, oh, I really like how confident you are. We may not feel confident, but other people might appreciate that about us. I like that you don't take things too seriously, right? I like how you can express your emotions. People might be telling us different things. So reminding ourselves of that also. So now this brings us to an end for today's session. And if you have any queries, you can write to us at campus@yourdost.com. And you can also post any questions you have right now on the chat, or unmute yourself and share any questions, the doubts that you may have. Does anybody have any questions? Any doubts? Anything they want to say? I'm really thankful to all of you for participating today, right? And I'm glad that you were all here, and many of you were participative, and that's wonderful. As you know that you can always go to our website if you have any personal concerns that you want to deal with, whether they're about confidence, whether they're about something else. There are a lot of experts and other psychologists like me on the platform, and you can also book audio and video sessions. So if you have any particular queries, feel free to reach out. If you have any questions right now also, please ask. Otherwise, we'll end for today.
Thank you, ma'am.
There is a question. It happens sometimes that we feel scared of doing anything. How to cope up with that? Okay. So by doing anything, you're saying you feel hesitant in being able to do some new activity, right? Okay. So so in that, whenever we are trying to build our confidence in some activity, we want to look at it from two perspectives, right? One is, what are the thoughts that might be holding me back, right? Like, I don't think I can do it, right? Like, let's say it's driving. I might feel, acha, mujhse nahi hogi, right? So then we look at it from like, okay, what proof that do I have that I won't be able to do it? If my friend would be telling me this, that I can't do it, how would I counsel them? We're often very hard on ourselves, but kinder to our friends. So ask yourself, what is the thought that is holding me back? Try to identify that thought and question it. Am I sure I won't be able to do it? Challenge that thought. The second part is practice. If I've never driven before, of course, I will struggle in the beginning. It's normal, it's natural. I'll have to practice. I'll have to go a few times, learn from an expert, but I will eventually get there. The same with any new thing that I might be wanting to do, right? It could also be a conversation, right? I want to have a difficult conversation with somebody. I'm not feeling very confident. So in that situation also, I can think about what is the worst that will happen. That person will get mad at me for some time, that person won't understand. But until I have the conversation, I will not know, right? What is the worst that will happen? What is the best that can happen, right? And then what is the most realistic situation, right? Worst kya ho sakta hai? What is the worst reaction they can give me? Best kya ho sakta hai? What is the best reaction they give me? They're like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I was wrong. Or what is realistic? Somewhere in the middle, right? So that is another way that we can challenge our thoughts. So basically identify what is the thought and challenge it. If you still feel difficulty, reach out to us. We'll help you do this even better. Then there's another question. When we do regretful things, but it was necessary, then how to get rid of regret? Okay, so this is very difficult to answer because I don't know what the regretful thing was, right? Again, I try to identify why was it necessary? What was that regretful thing you did and why was it necessary? Right? Only then I can help you better if we know what was making that particular thing necessary, that particular behavior necessary, right? Predicting about what could have happened and then what would happen after that, and that goes on a chain reaction of analysis and it becomes very scary. Yeah, so that does happen. This is called predicting the future, right? And we call it predicting the future, that we are trying to, fortune telling, we call it. We're trying to predict what may happen. But none of us know what will happen. We just don't know, right? It is not helpful. Is it helpful trying to predict the future? It is not. So when we see ourselves going into that chain reaction, we want to take a step back and say, okay, stop. Let's take a deep breath. We don't know what's going to happen, right? And that requires some training. So if we are very regularly getting into that negative loop, I would suggest take up some sessions of counseling, talk to somebody about it. Maybe they can help you control that chain reaction because it happens. It happens to all of us. But if it's too much for us, we can talk about it. Right? I will close now because we have overshot by a few minutes, but we will have more fruitful sessions like this. And for more concerns, go on our website, yourdose.com, right? And you can also write to us at campus@yourdose.com to book sessions or get extra help if you like. Right? Thank you all again for being such a participative audience. At least on the chat, you were all participative. That's great. And I'll see you again soon. Stay safe and take care. And thank you, Raghu, also for sharing the screen with me with your video on.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you a lot. You have given a lot of insights. Actually, I have came for this the confidence the title has it. I have generated that for what I am doing mistakes. So I want to recognize. I got some points, some pain points of me.
That's great. I'm glad.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you a lot.
All right, everybody, take care. Good evening to all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.